Air-fried lemon pepper featherbones. Some people call these riblets, especially if you live south of the Mason-Dixon line. But here in the Midwest, we call them featherbones. So first we're going to make our spice blend. You'll need 2 tablespoons of pepper. I use 1 tablespoon of white pepper and 1 tablespoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of sugar. And no, it's not brown sugar. Well, technically the color is brown, but I'm using coconut palm sugar. You can use any sugar that you have on hand, as long as it's not booger sugar. Add 1 tablespoon of dried parsley, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, half a tablespoon of ground coriander, and half a tablespoon of ground chipotle pepper. If you don't have ground chipotle pepper, you can substitute with paprika. Next, you'll need a half tablespoon of oregano, a half tablespoon of red pepper flakes, which is optional, a half tablespoon of basil, and a teaspoon of turmeric. Combine these into a container and mix. But if you're the type of person who's like, ain't nobody got time for that, you can just use any pre-made lemon pepper seasoning from the store. But keep in mind, if you do make the seasoning mix that I made, it should be enough to season about 10 pounds of meat. Next, we're gonna zest 3 lemons and 1 lime, because I'm being extra. Or you could just do 4 lemons, because you're basic. I'm not judging. Then in a separate container, we're gonna juice the citrus until you have about a half cup of juice. Notice how I use the grater to catch any seeds that may pop out. Now to season our feather bones, I have about 3 pounds of meat. I like to season my meat with salt first instead of adding salt to my spice mix, because it gives me greater control on how much salt is being used. I typically use 1 teaspoon of kosher salt per pound of meat. If you're using regular table salt, then use about 3/4 teaspoon of salt per pound. Then generously season the meat with the spice mix. After everything is seasoned, we'll put the meat into a Ziploc bag or whatever container you have and add 1/3 of our zest and 1/2 cup of buttermilk. If you have leftover buttermilk, you can use it to make pancakes later, or you can substitute the buttermilk with a 1/2 cup of wine, although I don't suggest substituting wine in your pancakes. Or you can use a buttermilk powder blend if you don't use buttermilk that often. Then coat the meat evenly with the marinade and place it into the refrigerator for at least 2 hours. And if you're using a plastic bag for your marinade, place the bag in a bowl in case there are any leaks in your bag. When you're ready to cook your feather bones, preheat your air fryer to 300 degrees. Once it reaches temp, add your feather bones directly from the refrigerator to the air fryer, being careful not to crowd the meat, and cook for about 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes, turn and flip your meat and cook for an additional 10 minutes at 390 degrees. Be mindful if you're cooking in batches to return the raw meat to the refrigerator while cooking, because these cooking times are based on refrigerated meat. But if you forget to return the meat to the refrigerator, then cook as normal at 300 degrees for 15 minutes, but on your second cooking at 390, reduce the cooking time from 10 minutes to 8 or even 5 minutes, depending on how long your meat's been out of the refrigerator. The internal temperature we're looking for in our finished product is between 180 and 200 degrees. Let these rest for about 10 minutes before serving. Now, if you want to kick things up a notch, then take half a stick of butter and the rest of your lemon juice and place it over medium heat. Add a couple sprigs of thyme. And don't be like me. Use a wok if you have one, or a large frying pan, because we're going to coat our meat with this glaze in the pan. Add a couple pinches of that spice mix we made earlier, half of your remaining zest, then salt and pepper to taste. I also added 1/4 cup of sugar to cut back on some of that acidity. Once everything's incorporated, you can turn off the heat, even though I didn't. Then coat your meat in the glaze, and you're ready to serve. And there you have it, air-fried lemon pepper feather bones. They go perfect with a nice light salad. And if you're still watching, you get a bonus recipe. I'm going to show you how to make the salad I serve these with. It's real quick and easy. It complements the lemoniness of the feather bones. And it'll have whoever you serve it to be like, oh my God, it's so nice. Just rough cut some watermelon into some bite-sized pieces. Put them on a plate, top them with some fine cut lettuce. sprinkle of fresh thyme, feta cheese, sliced almonds, light salt and pepper to taste, and add any lemon zest that you have left. All right, hope this recipe works out for you. If you try it, leave a comment below on how it turned out. Deuces.